Good morning, boys and girls. I hope that you're having a great day so far. Today's video is covering packet number 2, day 2. So, happy Tuesday. It's kind of hard to keep track of the days while we're stuck inside, but we're going to keep learning. So, I just want to quickly remind you of the daily activities that you could be doing every day. So, that would be reading a book of your choice and talking about what happened or what you learned about, and writing those capital and lowercase letters as fast as you can while practicing making them the correct way. And you can also time yourself to see if you can do it faster than you did before. Some math things that you can do every day are pick one of the math games that are either at the back of the first packet or the second packet to play with someone. Um, and then, of course, we have Dreambox. So let's get started with today's packet. So, like I said, we're in packet 2 and we're on the part that says day 2. So for today, for reading, your packet says, read the fiction story The Red Balloon. Read it to yourself 2 times, then read it to a family member. So it looks like this in the packet, The Red Balloon, and I'll read it to you one time now. And then you need to read it 2 times to yourself and then read it to a family member. So, The Red Balloon. Dad took my sister and me to the park. I had bread to feed the ducks. We walked to the pond. We saw a man selling balloons. Can I get a balloon? I said. Excuse me, I asked. As long as you promise to hold the string tight, Cindy, said Dad. You don't want it to float away. I will hold it tight. I promise, I said. Dad bought a red balloon for me. He bought a blue balloon for my sister. We were happy. Look at the ducks, yelled my sister. Take this, I said. I handed my balloon to my sister without looking. I grabbed the bread from my bag. I started feeding the ducks. Look, a red balloon, said my sister. I looked up. My red balloon was floating away. I was sad. Oh no! I lost my balloon, I cried. Sorry, Dad. So, that's the picture at the bottom. Read this to yourself 2 times and then read it to a family member. Then what you're going to do is, and we've had plenty of practice doing this in class, then you're going to, on the very next page of the packet, it has a paper that looks like this, or you can do this on any piece of paper. You are going to tell about the beginning, middle, and end of the story. Remember, this is like summarizing. When you are summarizing, you're not giving us every little detail. You're telling us the important things. So what was the important thing that happened at the beginning of the story? What was the important thing that happened in the middle? And same for the end. We wouldn't say that in the beginning, we wouldn't say, I had bread. That's not something important that happened in the beginning of the story. You would need to reread and think about what happened at the beginning of the story that was important to the story. So make sure, just like we talked about yesterday, you've got a capital letter at the beginning of your sentence, punctuation at the end, and make sure you've got a full thought and reread to make sure it makes sense. If all you're writing is a couple words, that's probably not a sentence. You need to have a full thought, reread, and make it your best work. Okay, so that's your reading activity and writing for today. And like I said, the red balloon is in your packet toward the bottom, and this is the very next page after the red balloon. But you could do this on blank paper or anything. So awesome. Now for math, your packet asks you to write the name of the game you chose. So when I was talking about those daily activities, that's what I'm talking about. Either the game from packet 1 or packet 2 that you chose to play with someone. So write the name of that game down. And now we're going to do another word problem. Yesterday we did a word problem about, what was that one about? Oh, the flag with stripes. And it said 7 were red and the rest were white. So hopefully you were able to figure that out, no problem. Today you have a new word problem. And just like yesterday, I'm going to work it out, a slightly different word problem with you. And then you'll get a chance to do the one in your packet by yourself. So this is not the one that's in your packet, but it's one that we're going to practice together. So I'm going to say, move this a little bit closer to me. Got Coco back there again. I'm going to say, Mr. Overton was in line at Busch Gardens. There were 3 people in front of him and 3 people behind him. Okay, so the one we're going to do together is Mr. Overton was in line at Busch Gardens. I have a period there, but it's hard to see. There were 3 people in front of him and 3 people behind him in the line. How many people were in line? So we're going to kind of do this the way that we did yesterday. So this one is different. This one is asking you for how many are in all. So it's asking you for the whole. It gives us, let's look at the numbers that the problem gives us, the parts that are given. So Mr. Overton was in line at Busch Gardens. There were 3 people in front of him. So that gives us some information. So I'm going to put that that is one of our parts. And we're adding together. And 3 people behind him. That's another part. Now, you could do this 2 ways. You could count Mr. Overton in your answer, or you could not count him. We're going to count him because it says how many people were in line. Well, Mr. Overton's in line, so we're going to count him. So it says 3 people in front of him and 3 people behind him. But I'm going to add 1 more to that number to count for Mr. Overton. So what's 3 plus 1? We should all know that very quickly. 4. So that's our 3 people behind plus Mr. Overton. That's our other part. Remember, when you're doing addition, we're just putting one part with another part to make our whole. So we have 3 plus 4. What could that equal? Try and think that through in your head. Think about our 10 frame. think about our 10 frame. So if we have 3, this is just like our number talks. That should be in your head, trying to do this in your mind rather than having to draw out some lines and put them all together. If you need to do that, that's okay. But we want to try and be picturing it in our head too, just like we do for number talks. So we have 3, and now we're going to add 4 more. Okay. So what would my whole be? When we put those parts together, what would my whole be? If we have half the 10 frame filled up, we don't have to count 1, 2, 3. Nope, you should know that's 5, because in a 10 frame, we've got 10 in total. So half of that would be 5, and 2 more, 6, 7. So 3 plus 4 is 7. So the final question was, how many people were in line? I'm going to put 7 people. So that's the example that we just did together. We used a 10 frame, we used numbers, words, perfect. So now let's take what we just used to solve this problem, to solve the word problem that is in your packet for today. The one that is in your word pack, or your packet for today says Mia was standing in line for water. There were 8 people in front of her and 8 people behind her. So this is the one that is in your packet for today. So this is the one that you need to try and solve on your own. Mia was standing in line for water. There were 8 people in front of her and 8 people behind her. How many people were in line? So you can use the same strategies that we used together for the problem that I made to solve this one. Think about that 10 frame. Think about putting those numbers together. Use the tools that we have practiced with to solve problems like these in class to solve the one now. Remember, I'm going to say that we are counting Mia in line. So there's 8 people in front of her, 8 people behind her, but don't forget to count Mia. So I noticed some doubles. We work with doubles a lot in class, especially during number talks. So let's try and practice that information too, knowing those doubles when we see them. So go ahead and try and solve this problem on your own. You can explain your thinking with pictures, numbers, and words. Then the last part for your math section for today says give the name of the games you played on Dreambox. So that should be easy. And I've been checking because I can see who's on Dreambox because I have a teacher account. And I'm happy a lot of you are really using Dreambox and spending some time on there. So that's great. So now the only thing left for today is our science that we are working on. So for science, it says, name some fruits. So let me let the camera focus. There we go. Name some fruits. What do you think that part of the plant is for? So yesterday we talked about this. We talked about the different parts of the plant. So we're going to do a quick review of that. Quick review of the plants and their different parts. So I'm going to quickly redraw what I did yesterday. Okay. So yesterday we said that the roots, their job is to soak up the water and nutrients that are in the soil to help the plant to grow. And they also hold the plant in place. So we said if there's a storm or strong wind, rather than the plant getting ripped out of the ground easy, the roots kind of help hold the plant in place in the soil, in the ground. So those are the roots' job, kind of soaks in all that water and nutrients for that plant. Then we have this part. The stem. And the stem's job is to move water and nutrients from the roots up and down the plant. So the roots soak in the water and nutrients, and the stem's job is to take the water and nutrients to the rest of the plant, up and down. And it also holds the plant upright. So the stem is kind of like a straw. It's strong and holds the plant upright so it's not flopping down to one side or the other. And it's also sucking the nutrients and water from the roots to the rest of the plant. So you can think of the stem as the straw of the plant. Next part are the leaves. The leaves' job is to use sunlight to make food for the plant. So the sunlight shines on the leaves and they work to make food for the plant. So that's something special about plants. They can make their own food. And the leaves do that from the energy from the sun. So the next one is the flower. The flower's job is to make the plant's seeds. Now, some flowers make fruits, some do not. So this kind of looks like a tulip. A tulip does not make fruit. So the flower part of the tulip makes the plant seeds. If a plant or if a flower makes a fruit, the fruit's job is to contain the seed. Some can be eaten. So we said that plants like cherries, strawberries, those are the fruits that come from the small flower and they hold the seed. The cherry seed is in the middle of the cherry. The strawberry seeds are on the outside of the strawberry. And the seed's job is to store food to grow a new plant. So the seeds that either come from the flower or the fruit, their job is to hold some nutrients in there so that a new plant can grow. And I showed you yesterday if a bird or something were to take a seed from the flower and it falls onto the soil, the nutrients that is stored in that seed would be used to start to grow a new plant. and then the process would start again. So those are the different parts of the plant and their different functions, or that means what they do. So today, for science, it says name some fruits. What do you think that part of the plant is for? Think about what I said the fruit is for. It holds you can go ahead and say it. It holds the seed. So let's think, it says to name some different fruits. So now your job is to think of some different fruits and say what the fruit's job is for the plant. Then it asks you to read the pages fruits and seeds. So I'm going to read that to you, and then your job is to read it by yourself at home. It looks like this in your packet. Fruits and seeds. Fruits and seeds. Fruits and seeds help plants reproduce. That means to make more plants. Fruits and seeds grow from the flowers of plants. So I said, a flower either has the seed in it or the flower makes a fruit that holds the seed. So I'm going to read that part again. Fruits and seeds grow from the flowers of plants. A fruit grows from a part near the base of the flower. Inside the fruit are seeds. I'll read it one more time. Fruits and seeds help plants reproduce. Fruits and seeds grow from the flowers of plants. A fruit grows from a part near the base of the flower. Inside the fruit are seeds. So look at this. There's a fruit. There's the flower part of the fruit. But we see the fruit there. So your job, after I want you to read that to yourself now by yourself, then you need to answer the questions. What did you learn about fruits and seeds? What is the job of fruit? What is the job of seeds? Why is that job important for a plant? How do all the parts of a plant work together to make sure that it stays alive? So when we put all of these parts of the plant together and their different jobs, how do they work together to make sure that the plant stays alive? So awesome job. Hopefully you guys, make it clear what you're expected to do for today. And I will be on tomorrow to explain day 3 of the packet. So just let me know. Your parent can email me or shoot me a message if you have any questions at all. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.